Hey everyone, this is OotiniCast episode 395, being recorded on August 25th, 2020, and this is going to be the raw version of the episode. This is going to be the raw version that the stream is working. So this is the raw version of the episode with any flubs left intact, and then the episode will be edited and corrected if needed, and will go out as a podcast tomorrow. So we'll get going on the actual podcast in just a moment. Let me go ahead and tweet out that we're going. How you doing, Kitty? And is your Audacity rolling?
It is rolling.
All right. So is mine. So I will tweet this out.
And I will... When you tweet it out, I will tweet it out.
Okay.
We'll tweet together, chill. Double tweet.
All right, I have got it out there. I'll retweet it, might as well. And then we'll get going. Do you need anything else before we get going, actually?
Yeah, let me run to potty real quick.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, retweet it. Be right back. Hi, everybody.
All right, so we just need a minute now for Kitty to get back. I see. So we got Duck already in the channel. Since I have a minute, I'm gonna move some of this stuff so it's in a better spot. There we go. I always like to make it look like on the screen that I'm looking towards Kitty. And that was fine, except it was blocking some of the chat, so I couldn't chat back without having to move that OBS, and that's no good at all. Alright, so yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. Already.
Okay.
I myself like a big boy.
All right. Since we're already getting going, we'll start it in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast. We're gonna flip your switch. This is episode 395, being recorded on Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, KittyKissz. Hey, Kitty.
Hey, Chill.
And what have you been up to in game and so on?
Okay, I have been... Okay, so I got this idea. And, I stream. You and I kind of have the same play style where we play different characters. And you and I have probably played every storyline amount of times.
Right.
So trying to figure out a way to make it so that, it's fun and then, interesting for other people when they're watching. I decided to go through and level every class to see which one I want to make my PvP main.
Ooh, okay.
And
wow. So how are you gonna remember by the end? Are you gonna take notes along the way or something, or like grade them? Okay, spreadsheets. Okay. And what are some of the things you're ranking?
Okay, I'm kind of just going on what kind of DPS I do, how much I like playing it, how well it is in PvP, and I think just kind of how fun I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I did Sork.
Okay.
And while I'm doing this, I'm only kind of been playing through the story, the main character story, and then PvPing and a little bit of this and that,
Sure.
And I've got through Sork, and Sork was really fun.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. And Vanguard, and I didn't get through Vanguard because I didn't like it. I just don't like the play style, and I try it once a year. I swear. Every year I try Vanguard, sometimes twice a year, and I just can't get through it. I thought, well, maybe if I, level it up to 70, it will be super cool and I'll enjoy it, but it's just not my thing. So,
Right. And so I
I
assume
had to
that by now
can it.
you've tried the different specs within it as well.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I forgot which one it was, but I pretty much went the majority of the way through completely not liking it. And then someone in stream suggested running the other spec. And I was like, this is great. This is much better than, the last spec, but I didn't like it as
Right.
much, enough to play it all the way through. Before I started streaming that day, I was like, I was dreading it. And I went, that's not
That's
fun.
not a good sign. Yeah.
That's not how
That's
you
not going to
win
be,
an
yeah,
MMO.
that's not going to win.
So I canned it and started a shadow.
Okay.
And I've been kind of alternating through Imperial Republic,
Sure.
and ended up on a shadow.
Are you doing like the
And
backstabby spec for that? Because that's kind of the PvP one.
I don't know which one I'm doing, but I love it. I love the animation. I love the sneakiness.
Yep.
And I've never enjoyed a stealth character in any game. I'm not a stealther. And I constantly, say terrible things about stealthers when they stealth and kill me. But I am in your ranks now. And I'm loving it. So I don't know. It's up there. I think it's so far my number one favorite class for PvP at this point.
Nice.
And I'll go in and watch other people that PvP and kind of ask some questions and things like that. So I'm stoked. I can't wait to get to my favorite class, which is Warrior, and see if that works.
Okay.
My fingers are crossed.
Right. Well, which warrior? Are you talking about Marauder or are you talking about Jug?
Marauder.
Cool.
Marauder is Marauder and Sentinel are my favorite classes to play. I love the rotation on them, and I like the animation. Two sabers, come on, come on. Two sabers is the best.
I dual wield, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, and then I don't know if I think I told you already, but I applied for content creator.
Nice.
And I can't wait to hear back.
Yeah.
Yes or no, I don't care.
Right.
I mean, of course I care, but I can't
it'll
wait
be
to
good
hear
to know,
back.
yeah.
I hope they let me in. I hope I'm not too much of a jibber jabber, or I hit the fart sound on my stream too many times. But we'll see what happens. That's about it.
Awesome.
Who's in chat?
All right, we'll see who we've got here today. Dekion, Ilmoshed, Optank, Predakill, Swotorboy, and thatducksauce. I also see Zen in the chat, so it hasn't updated for a while, but hey everyone. Oh, there's Cog. Hey Cogus, how's it going? And yeah, so what I did end up doing quite a bit on the nightlife event. Did you do much on the nightlife event, Kitty? It did just finish. It kind of wrapped up, so.
Oops, sorry. I did, and a couple of years ago I spent a lot of time in there, and this time I just kind of did it leisurely, and I have never won more on the nightlife event than I did this time around. It was just like win, and I was gonna count it all up and tally it here on the podcast, but I forgot. What about you?
Right. Well, I've been occasionally going there when someone has like several Emperor's chips and just kind of, usually you end up getting some Kingpin chips and you kind of burn them down and whatever. So, but at this last couple of days, I've actually like gone through all my characters that I've played over the last month or so to actually, get all the chips used up, and ended up with like some 250-ish golden certificates, about 120 or so cartel ones. I got 15 or so of the Wraith vehicles. I got like 7 of the Rhodian companions. And
you got 7?
Yeah, 7 Rhodians and 0 of the Emperor jackpot mounts. None. I got absolutely none of them. So I probably ended up, putting in about 200 Emperor's coins over the course of the event.
Wow.
Could not get it to jackpot for me. Worst of all, on the night before, that's when I sort of burned everything down, and then like the last day, I got like a couple more Emperor's coins, so I just went and used them, put one in, and I got the jackpot noise, and it was another Wraith. Oh. It's like, I didn't even, and I hadn't gotten any Wraiths from the Emperor's machine. I didn't even know you could, that would be a jackpot noise on the Emperor's. I was like, oh man, because I was really excited. Like, it would have been a great story right at the very end. Like, I burned everything else and I only had 2 chips left, and then I got it. No, I didn't get it. I got nothing.
Right.
I got nothing. Another Wraith. So any character that I have that wants a Wraith can certainly have one. I've got a bunch of them. So
yeah, me too. You just give them to your alts. It's perfect because we're both altaholics.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
if it works for them, yeah. Oh yeah, this one's this is a biker type or whatever.
You get a Wraith.
Yeah, exactly. I do kind of like them. It's definitely a good speeder for sure.
Yeah.
And I got the droid character, which is actually a cybernetic character that I've have an outfit that basically makes it look like he's a droid. He's a bounty hunter, and he's gotten through his class story, and he's up to McKeb, and he's somewhere in the low 60s. So yeah, so
he looks cool. When I pop in there and see him, he looks really cool.
Thanks. Yeah,
he did a really good job on it. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a combination of a couple of different sets, so that essentially, like, they're obviously it's how it looks, and it's underneath it there's actually like a cybernetic male body size 3 character. But the ones I chose in a way that there's nothing organic showing, and not only that, but it would be kind of impossible for it to be like an organic character if that was in fact what the character was, what I mean? So like, it has like the part where there's like just a little hole like between the top and the bottom of his abdomen, there's like one tube. There's like no way that could be organic. His helmet, like if you look at it from the side, there's actually like nothing inside behind the helmet, and through the neck you can actually see through the neck in places, so that could not be organic. Same with like the joint at the hips, all that kind of stuff. So it looks, thanks. I'm really happy with how he looks too. He's not really a cosplay character like I normally do, but he's not meant to look like a particular like Ultron or other robotic character, which is kind of my normal thing. But this time I just went with an RP character. But yeah, he's pretty cool. And I've never done. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I hadn't done. I usually do like the direct damage. I don't really do the healing thing when I'm leveling. I usually do the direct damage spec, and this time I went with the innovative ordnance. It feels very good for like a a cybernetic or robot type character. It's very tech heavy, and I hadn't really played it enough to actually get a good handle on it. It's pretty like you want to do different things for different types of groups. So like it's like if they're weak and they're all together, you can stun them all with one ability, but if they're spread apart, you should use a different ability. If if there's a silver among them who won't get stunned, then you got to think about a completely different way to take them down. So it's tricky at first, but I'm kind of appreciating in a way that I have never done before, because I usually went with the more I forget what the other one's called, but it's like a more of a direct damage spec, and it's much simpler, much more straightforward. You got a question though?
Yeah, I was gonna say that being a Nightmare Mode Space Barbie champion, I like that character because he looks Star Warsy, but he looks like he could have come from almost any sci-fi, like right. Even like a hard sci-fi.
Yeah.
He would fit in.
Right.
I don't know.
I appreciate really that. Cool. Yeah. I think one of the things that feels like that, especially for me, is his guns, because he's got these, I think they're called A10 somethings, and they look like needlers. Like some sci-fi, Star Wars doesn't really have it, but a lot of sci-fi, IPs have like needler guns. That's sort of like a thing, and this looks like a needler gun because it has like a pistol, and then it like ends with like this very, very sharp point. And so it looks very sci-fi. So thank you. Yeah, he's actually pretty fun. And like I say, I am getting to know this spec that I've never appreciated before. So it's kind of like what you're doing, where you're actually testing things out and trying different classes and different specs. And I'd never appreciated this particular spec before, but I do now, and I kind of see like how it works and why people get into it and stuff like that.
Nice.
I'm very
That's
picky
awesome.
when it comes to like dot specs, because like I really love my scoundrel and operative. They're kind of like my main DPSers, and they're in the dot spec, the lethality spec. And but then like Madness Sork, I've never really liked. Like it's never gelled for me. It's never gelled for me. Yeah. So and this one for the Bounty Hunter, it never really gelled with me before, but now it kind of is, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, Madness spec is one of those specs that I try once a year. And I just go, it's just not my thing. And everybody's constantly howling about it and saying how badass it is. But I don't know, just this play style.
I like it in concept. Yeah, I like the idea of like sucking all the life energy and the force out of everyone, and causing immense pain and all this stuff. I like that as a concept to write to make a spec around, but I just had never like managed to make it work, either in the sorcerer or the assassin version, because they back in the day they had that shared tree, and they still basically have a shared tree. Essentially, they're very, very similar specs still. They've verged a little bit because as time has gone on, but yeah. So I think that'll bring us to the tip of the week. I just went ahead and made one, just a little bit. Wanted to drill down a little bit on delicacies and maintenance. We've talked about these before, even kind of recently, but these are the two newest, so to speak. They've been out a few years. Types of companion gifts. They're really, really cheap. It's 2 Jawa Junks, or the other equivalents. Jawa Junk is the name of the purple one, but I can't remember the names of the green and the blue ones offhand. But there's those Jawa vendors. They're either on the fleet, but you can also get them as a deco and just buy them in your stronghold, so that works fine as well. So delicacies and maintenance come in green, blue, and purple versions, but all of them are rank 6. And you're getting these Jawa Junks from all of the failed rank 11 crew skill missions, which means everyone is getting them. Like, as long as you're sending out crew skill missions, some of them are going to come back as failures, and you're going to get some of these. And you can also get them when you do get a rank 11 slicing box and open it up. You'll get credits, and you'll get more of this Jawa Junk. So so everyone's getting these, they just kind of build up. So what are you going to do with them? Well, to me, one of the best, the rank 11 like crew skill stuff, like if you wanted to get like biochemistry rank 11 stuff, is really, really crazy expensive. Like the older stuff is actually pretty reasonable, but they decided like the top of the line stuff, the stuff that's actually useful to end game stuff, is like really, really expensive to buy that way. You can do it, but it's really expensive. Yeah, it's crazy. But these gifts are like really, really nice because first of all, you've got the cartel market companions, which is kind of what these are geared at. There's a couple kinds of them. The delicacies are the ones for the animals, like the act dogs. And then the maintenance ones are for the droid types. So there's QO, and I can't remember the names of all of them. The one I like and use the most is QO. And it's really easy to get these level 50 fighting companions this way, because the cartel market ones, you can't send them out on crew missions, but you can have them with you fighting. And if you're in the field and like you see a slicing node, you can have them do the slicing node. You just can't send them out on crafting missions or crew skill missions. But they also did make it so that the gifts are useful for some regular companions as well. So, for example, Lana Benico likes delicacies, T7 likes maintenance. So you can always check and see, like, does a companion actually like these, because they're really, really cheap. And if you've got like 5,000 purple Jawa Junks, you can get 25 They only cost 2 each, so you can get 2,500 rank 6 purple gifts. And if they give any influence at all, you can just get all the way through them. It's really great. So it's super great for like Lana. It's great for T7, and and there's other ones too that they've added them to. So it's a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. And so even if they're not, even though like Lana likes, I think it's cultural gifts the best. And it's not at that level. Delicacies aren't at that level, but because they're so cheap, essentially, it doesn't matter. You can get lots of influence from these gifts anyway. So that's my tip of the week. So if you're just rolling in the Jawa junk and it's just clogging up your inventory, there's something you can do with it.
I kind of look at it as even though you can't send them out for crew missions, I always look at it as that you can kind of get 1 to 50 on every character, especially if you're an alcoholic, for free, basically.
Right.
So when all your other characters are out, making stuff or getting things, you can have your creature companion or your droid companion there to help you out while they're off doing
That's right.
crap. Yeah.
Yep. Fulgen's in the chat, and he gave us a few more. So HKs, ship droids, meaning C2 and 2V, and then ZO, and they all like maintenance too as well, which it kind of makes sense. So it's basically the droid characters are gonna like the maintenance, and then the delicacies are a little trickier. You have to figure out who actually likes them, but like I say, I know Lana does, so I've used that before. So anyway, there we go. So if you have a tip of the week, send it to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show for a chance to win a Tonfon or M83R droid pet code, or there's also now an M2B9 droid code, courtesy of BioWare, and an OotiniCast provided cartel market pack from the latest shipment. And that will bring us to the mine trap. And so so a week ago, you had a question, Kitty? It seemed like you're on tenterhooks there for a sec.
No, I'm good.
Okay, good.
I'm just like I constantly.
You like you're always moving. You're like a shark.
Yeah.
Gotta keep
if
moving.
I stop moving, I'll drown.
That's right. So a week ago we tweeted out, and of course I made a huge error. I put the word sounds, which I literally needed the word do, and I somehow got sounds instead. Crazy, I know. How do you make that error? Well, you make that error when you only have a minute, but you want to do it because it's like a week before the show, and you wanted the full 7 days, but you needed to help your girlfriend with something, but it's also really bright out and it's actually you're out in daylight tweeting. Don't do it that way, folks. Don't tweet under time pressure. Don't tweet in bright light. It's really, really dumb. So you make stupid errors, and so anyway, the question was, let's put that aside. The question was, with what regularity do you play SWTOR? And so the possible answers that I suggested were regularly since I started, regularly but with breaks, I return when I want, or I'm new, or I have no pattern. We actually had a pretty good amount of voting this time, almost 2,000, 1,977 votes.
Nice.
Yeah, and there was a definite winner this time. I of course am regularly since I started. Kitty, are you regular since you started, or have you taken some breaks?
It's been regularly since I started, but I did take one break.
Okay.
One break for a couple months, and then, of course, that was when they were doing the HK chapter. That's the only time I've taken a break, and it was only for a couple months.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh no! So you're saying that you don't have the HK chapter and the ZO because?
I had.
No.
Luckily, Domino from my chat gifted it to me.
The chapter, now that you can buy it separately. I
finally got to play for the first time. Yeah.
It's a fun chapter, isn't it?
It is great. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
It's really
it's very humorously written.
And you get to play as HK.
You get to learn about Vibromops. You get to play as HK. Yeah. And I like how the HK is there's a sort of a sweet version, a mean version, and just a snarky version. And you can either keep it regular all the way through or mix it up or whatever. But yeah. And of course Zio, who is one of my personal favorite companions.
Yes.
I love
finally got Zio, who I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, that she's the best companion for healing.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I heard.
It's because there's two kind of reasons for it. They kind of add up together to make it so that she's actually somewhat better. One is that there's like a hidden splash healing ability that doesn't show up on her bar, but she does it anyway, which is kind of weird, but okay.
Sex.
Yeah, and the other one is her channel, which every healing companion has a channel. It's normally like a 8-second cooldown or something like that. Hers is like a 17-second cooldown, but it will literally heal you for like half of your bar plus crits. It's
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah, she has a crazy good channeled heal. So yeah, she can be really, really strong.
She's pretty funny too.
Decion's saying that used to be true, so maybe they finally weakened her some. I don't know about the splash. They probably got rid of the splash if they did anything, because last time I had Zio out and she was on heals, she did have still the 17-second cooldown. So, but anyway, yeah. So in any case, she's a great healer, and she's a lot of fun too. And you get to hear, and if you've ever done the old macro binocular quests. And you learn about the Shroud, but they kind of they never finished the Shroud story. Well, they did finish the Shroud story. It's in the HK chapter, so you find out what happens with the Shroud. So we won't spoil it because it's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah. Another thing is, I think it was a great break from the seriousness of the chapters to have that just kind of funny chapter right in the middle.
Yeah, I agree. Right, and it makes sense that they would keep it light, because they knew at the time that they were doing it in a way that not everyone was going to have access to it. So if they made it really like a core part of the lore, then that would kind of mess things up, because only some certain people would know about this one part. Anyway, so yeah. So regularly with the one break, that's fine. Yeah, I get it. It's unfortunate about the timing. So 14%, a little over 14% were regularly since I started. 32% were regularly but with breaks, and then 47.5% were I return when I want, and then only 5.8% were I'm new or I have no pattern. So there you go. I liked. That kind of made sense to me. I didn't know exactly what would happen. Also because, these are naturally self-selecting. It's possible that more of the regular players would also be following us on Twitter, that sort of thing, or would notice this poll when someone else they knew tweeted it, stuff like that. But no, I return when I want, which we know that's very typical for MMOs. That's absolutely a very normal way to play MMOs, is whatever MMO has, come out with a new expansion or whatever, go play it for a while, and if another MMO comes out with a different expansion, you go play that, all that sort of thing. So, yeah, so that was very interesting. I never thought
of that. Returning when you want, leaving a game and playing another game. I couldn't do it, especially an MMO. Mm-hmm. I'm a one MMO kind of guy. I couldn't imagine having two.
Yeah.
Not enough time.
It's rough. Yeah. When SWTOR came out, Tio and I, we were still playing WoW at the time. We kind of let it fade, and it took a lot of time to even try to do two MMOs. It was, and then of course we were half-assing WoW because of it. Especially, because SWTOR was new, and because we were doing the podcast on it. So that was really interesting. This is sort of a variation of a question you were thinking we should ask, Decky. So I thought but I just wanted to phrase it this way because I was kind of curious actually to see what the answer was. And so there we go. So so regularly is actually relatively, regularly since they start, it's actually a little uncommon. 14%, and then regularly with breaks, and then almost half are just I return when I want, which is cool.
I thought that regularly since I started would be a lot more popular, but it does make sense. I return when I want,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sounds healthier.
It probably is. Yeah. Well, I guess the good news is, at least is where it comes to me. It's like I have SWTOR, and I guess I play a little League of Legends, although I really haven't played much of that even in the last month or so, and none on stream. I've occasionally played a little bit off stream, and that's pretty much it. Once in a while, there's a few games that I will touch on my phone, and that, at least I'm not, like just, sun up to sundown playing nothing but video games. But yeah, more than one MMO would be pretty rough.
No way. No way.
All right, that'll bring us to the Holo feed. There's going to be a Steam-inspired login reward, and also Shay Vizsla is going to return. So if you don't have Shay Vizsla, you can get her as a companion. And yeah, I actually use her a fair bit, really, as a companion. Yeah, usually
AoE DPS she kills it.
Yeah, she does good DPS. As far as I know, there is still a very slight edge for dual wielders, so and ranged companions as well. So she does pretty well there. I also like a lot of what I judge a companion on is like what they say when they do a Croak Crew mission, because if I find it annoying, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Right.
I think it's Darth Hexid. She has the phrase when you send her out. She has the phrase "I've got this." Only she says it weird. She puts the emphasis on the wrong word, and she says "I've got this" instead of "I've got this." It's
now I'm never going to be able to unhear that.
Yeah, exactly. It's a minor thing, but it bugs the heck out of me, and I like almost never use her for crew missions because of it.
See, she has, I think, one, I can't think of it at the moment, but she has a great line when she returns. I think it's, "Did you miss me?" And I always blurt out, "Constantly, my dear."
That's awesome. I like Treek. Treek's great. And yeah, that's right. And yeah, I'm trying to think of those like other ones. Nick's good, and well, they're all kind of, they all have their place. But right. Yeah, all it takes is like one thing that they say that bothers me, and they go right to the bottom of the list.
Yep, that's exact. Koth, he's the worst. He just complains and complains.
Oh yeah, the ones that complain about it.
I could do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess you can go to the bottom of the list, chump.
That's right. All right, so coming August 28th, SWTOR is excited to announce 2 new promotions inspired by SWTOR's Steam launch. The Pipeworks Character Flare is available to all players who log into the game, and the legendary Mandalorian Shay Vizsla returns for subscribers. So they have a picture, and it's in the show notes, and it's also on SWTOR.com, of course, and it's going to show what it looks like. And yeah, it's basically some steam pipes. So if you like the steampunk look, it's definitely in that sort of general vein.
Or you really like the works?
Yeah, I could see like using it on. I might end up putting it on like certain characters where it fits. You know what I mean? So. Any sort of steampunky character would be good, stuff like that.
That's a good question. Zen asks, do you have to log in through Steam to get it?
Yeah, as I understand, you do not. No, it's just going to be anyone who logs in during that time.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's good. So that's going to be like the other ones, So you will log into the game, and then you'll see an in-game email with the new flare, and then you select title in your character sheet. The flare is available to all players, not just you launching the game through Steam. So they actually did confirm that. Be sure to log in and get your Pipeworks flare. And then the Mandalorian Companion, which, of course, we have Shay Vizsla, a lot of us, but if you don't, this is the time to get her. It's anytime between August 28th and October 5th. As long as you're a subscriber anytime in that period, she'll be granted to all characters on your account.
That's great.
Yeah. She comes back, if you do the Coffee Kotet chapter, she does go away for a little while. She comes back reasonably fast. Basically, it's like once you get Torian, it's like kind of the end of Coffee, and then right then you can get her back once those coffee chapters, and once you've got Torian back in the coffee chapters, she shows up like shortly after that.
I know that there's a lot of people in my stream chat lately that are really stoked to get her. That
Yeah, well, she's pretty legendary. That's actually one other thing that I've been doing. Just started re-listening to Star Wars: The Old Republic Deceived. And they don't really talk about her that much, but it does go, it's more about Malgus, and when they do the fight in the Jedi Temple, then they mention about the Mandalorian. I think he just calls her the Mandalorian. I don't know if they ever really name her, but if you know the lore, then you know that that's her. So
I should listen to that. I never listened to it yet.
Yeah. Oh, it's really good. Yes.
Did you get it through the audiobook, or are you listening to it on
I've had
YouTube?
both in this case. Long time ago, I had the paper ones, but more recently, I usually do listen to the audiobook. That's just preferred, just because I can do it while I'm doing other things and that sort of thing. Exactly. So it ends up being, it feels more efficient to me.
Right.
I still like reading books. It's just, I'm usually wanting to do other things. So
can't watch cat videos and read
books. That's right. At the same time. Yeah. So it's really, really early on right now. I've just gotten a little bit past what we were talking about, past the sacking, of course. And yeah, good stuff.
That's cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yep. And once again, they do confirm that, it doesn't have to be a particular, type of subscription or where you get the subscription. If it's a regular one or through Steam or even a Game Time card, doesn't matter. As long as you're a subscriber between any time between August 28th and October 5th, you're good to go. Yeah, I remember with the, and that's just any period of time. It doesn't have to be for the whole time either. Because I remember the HK chapter, you had to be subscribed from like January of that year through August, I believe it was, and it had to be for that whole time. And in order to do that, they had to so many times they had to go over and over again. Okay, it's not just a subscription anytime during this time. You actually have to be subscribed from January 1st all the way to the end of August. Because because otherwise people would have been confused. So, but
yeah, an odd thing.
But Shea Vizsla, this is more of a simple one. Yeah, just if you're a subscriber anytime, you're good to go. And Sweet. It does say, of course, expires at that point, and who knows if she'll ever come back. I mean, they've done it once, maybe they'll do it again. But it was when did we initially get her? It was I don't know, Shadow of Revan time of period. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a long while.
It could be Shadow of Revan.
Yeah, it was either.
I remember being really stoked.
Yeah, it's been a while. So I think it was Shadow of Revan because they had that flashpoint with her in it. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Yeah, on Rishi.
Right.
I think that's when it was. Anyway.
And she came before Nico, right? Or did Nico come first?
I don't remember. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Sorry. I think they were both, around the same time in terms of they're way back in the day. Whereas we know Hexid was a little later.
Hexid's the newest. Or no, wait, it was the Twi'lek. The pirate Twi'lek.
Pirate, yeah.
Anyway.
Right. He's fun. I like
him. You need
him.
to start putting things in order for no reason at all.
Right. I actually haven't done that one thing where you go to the different cantinas and you click on him on the pirate in every cantina.
I haven't either.
There's an achievement for it. So
every time I see him though, I always click on him.
Yeah, I always do too, but I haven't gotten the achievement. I must be skipping something or forgotten something or whatever.
Event, Dekion.
We might have to do that as a thing. All right, so there was a back-end maintenance that was last week. It was pretty basic. Pirate Incursion is coming, and that I believe is actually starting now. Yeah, starting today. There was a little bit of a mix-up in between what they had said in terms of here comes the events, and then they give us the information on what event's coming when. But anyway, Pirate Incursion is starting up, and yeah, and it should have triggered by now because the event will trigger after the weekly conquest reset, and we've had that happen already. So Pirate Incursion should be available now. I didn't actually add it to the show notes, but I did notice that Volk has a new video out about the event and like how to
cool.
do the various missions and complete it and so on.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. There was also one thing they said about combating advertisement, basically spamming in the game. Let's see. They talk about how Steam has brought a lot of new players to the game and so on, and brought people back to the game. I'm sure you've seen how lively our starter plans have been. This includes all the credit-selling advertisers. It's been an ongoing battle for years, and we've had to try to strike a balance between potentially frustrating our legitimate players and shutting down all the credit sellers. It's an old battle every MMO has to fight whenever chat is available. Yet to be perfectly honest, go ahead.
Oh no, I had an idea.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the really big fans of SWTOR, we each take 1 hour a week. Now this, of course, has to be okayed by the devs, and I'm sure they'd be into it. We will donate our time, and we will just sit there on the starter worlds and ban those bastards over and over. And then, when your hour's over, that's it for the week. Another player comes in and just spams the ban button on the farmers.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there, BioWare.
All right. Let's see. Yet to be perfectly honest, our efforts haven't worked out so well. Sure, we made it harder for them, but they are persistent organizations who like to frustrate all of us. You may have noticed we made a few adjustments, but we hope you only notice the results. It might be short-lived, but at least for the time being, we are experiencing a little peace and quiet. Our changes will not stop all the spamming. We need your help as it begins with your spamming reports. We decided if something wasn't bothering you, then we're going to allow the chat to come through. So if you see a credit seller's message, right-click and report it. That will initiate the new process we put in place. They'll try to circumvent, they'll change their message, they'll spam more, they'll add more accounts, more bots, but keep reporting them. They won't like it. That's the first step. And I've noticed a few spams and like some even in emails, in the in-game mail, but it hasn't been too bad. Anyway, but he says, but perhaps one of the most important is to stop buying from them. You put your credit card, your password, your account, and your inventory at risk. You don't know these companies, and based on the fact that they're violating our terms of service every time they advertise, they obviously don't care about the rules. We enforce our rules by typically banning the accounts they use, but we also know that they have inventories of bot accounts, so it's a never-ending battle. For example, over the past few weeks, we've eliminated tens of thousands of their accounts that they've created or acquired over the years. I won't give you details, but it took some time to track down their networks. We have more effort plans, but it was a good start. With respect to protecting your account, never give out your password, and if you don't already have one, add a mobile security key. That adds an extra layer of protection, especially if your email has been compromised. And remember to change your passwords periodically on all your accounts, just as another way to protect you and yours. Bottom line, we've implemented a variety of changes, and we'll monitor and adjust as we can. The credit spammers might move around, change their tactics, and try to disrupt your gameplay. Just report them. We'll handle the rest. Keith. So
thank you, Keith.
Pretty awesome. Yeah. And yeah, definitely add a mobile security key. I've had mine since forever, and it's super easy. Oh, you have the physical one. Yeah, I've used the phone version. I think I had one once upon a time, but even then I was still using the mobble key.
Same battery too.
Yeah, they last a long time, but at some point it becomes remarkable for sure.
Yeah, I'm just like, wow.
And you will get cartel coins. Yeah, and Dekion even pointed out 100 cartel coins a month, and you don't have to be a subscriber or anything. You'll get them no matter what. It's really good that way. All right, and there's, as usual lately, they've been like sort of acknowledging bugs normally because they're not talking about time to fix or anything like that. There's not really a whole lot of point in us going over every last one of them, but sometimes there are unusual bugs that get mentioned or whatever, and we will hit a couple of them. So let's do that. White and green quality items are not able to be dyed. I haven't run into this one yet, but that's interesting. There are not a lot of white items that have dye slots, but they are out there. A lot of green ones that do, though. But I haven't, because I just haven't happened to, like, the outfit I've used on my droid character is all cartel, so there was nothing white or green there. I don't know if anyone's run into that. I haven't seen anything in chat yet about it. But interesting. If so, I'm wondering if it's everything that's white and green, or if it's just a few items.
Is it white and green, or just white alone and green alone?
Well, it's not the dye, but rather the quality of the item. So white items and green level items. Yeah. So usually white items are like those early ones that you usually only get on like the first planet, and from a few early vendors and stuff. And then green you can get anytime throughout the game. So I'm wondering how often this is happening. But anyway, that would be interesting to find out. Kind of curious to like go and almost try it, like find a really cheap dye, a really cheap dye, and burn it just to see if it's working or not. Right. But yeah, it doesn't really specify here whether this is like for everything that's white and green or just some of them. And also Foundry, the Flashpoint. There's some different bugs regarding Foundry right now. So, and yeah, apparently that might be a good one to avoid right now if you can. And finally, we've got there was a couple of really good interviews by Duck over the last couple of weeks. One was the previous co-host of OotiniCast, Dr. Gameology, formerly Dr. Swotor, and that one just came out on YouTube today. So I haven't been able to listen to the whole thing. I did listen to some of it, and it's exactly what you expect from Dr. Gameology. Really good stuff about gaming psychology and where those two meet. But they kind of hit on some other things too a little bit, which was kind of fun. So, and that one's a little bit longer, so definitely check that one out. It's up on YouTube. The link will be in the show notes. The other one, and it was actually put out a couple of days ago on YouTube, but it's his interview with Erik Dellums, who voiced Arcann. And that was also really, really good. Really well done. And my general response was that it was interesting, not only if you're a SWTOR fan or if you're a fan specifically of Arcann, and Thexan, of course, because he naturally he does both, but really it's Arcann, of course. But also really should be of interest if you're just interested in voice acting as an art, or voice acting even as a business. They talk a lot about that, like how he gets roles, how they're handling COVID, what it's like to be a voice actor, like how much traveling do you do. He talks about how you need to be able to schmooze, and so it's actually difficult if you're on one coast and the place that you want to get a job for is on the other coast, stuff like that. He says, for example, let's see. He talks about it's difficult to do something that's not in the center of your acting wheelhouse because producers don't want to take risks, which makes sense. Right. He talks about, like, the question was, do you have more freedoms as a voice actor or do you have more freedoms on set? And he says, to me, they're the same. I've always been a fringe actor and I came from improv. So a lot of my work comes from directors who know that I'm going to bring something new and strange. And he also still feels like he's kind of starting out in voice work compared to many actors in the business, which is interesting because he's actually had quite a number of voice jobs. So he definitely, he's always looking ahead to, see what other people have been able to do. So lots of really good stuff. He did let us know that, and this is sort of the big reveal, is if you're just sort of a SWTOR fan, is that they did record some more Arcann stuff recently. So we don't know what it's about. We don't know exactly when it's going to come out, but yeah, there's going to be more Arcann stuff in the semi-near future. I don't know if this is part. Well, we know that there is going to be content coming out in winter, they called it, so it's probably December, but could be like late November, something like that. But that was going to be like Satil Shan is messed up, from the Emperor's, final from the grave, revenge. We're going to go try to figure out what's happening with them. There's also some stuff going on with Malgus, going over to Dantooine. So it could be something to do with that. It could be something to do with the Mandalorian Flashpoint. I don't know what Arcann would have to do with any of that. Or maybe nothing, or maybe there's something else coming up. We don't know. But it sounds cool.
Maybe an Arcann,
cool.
Market. I can't think of the name of it. A vendor. An Arcann vendor? Who knows?
Yeah.
It could be anything. I always find it interesting that whenever, you're hearing someone and you're seeing them for the first time, how weird it is to hear their voice, come out of, not Arcann. And it always takes a little while to kind of adjust it. Like meeting someone that you talk to in like Discord or whatever, and you've never seen what they look like. And then you eventually meet them and it always there's like a little adjustment time from hearing their voice coming out of the actual person and not, chat. That always kind of makes you, always makes me kind of go, okay. Is that just me?
Right. Yeah. So, and there's, in addition to the lines that, he did for Arcann already, he also said, the only thing I could say is that I will be hearing from them sooner rather than later. So they must be writing something now, which is very exciting, but there's nothing commitments or anything like that at this time, which is cool. So not only, are we going to get some Arcann, but it's, there's additional stuff potentially coming down the line. We'll see. Who knows? The storylines can change. They can get altered or reversed or whatever, but that's really cool. I also liked, let's see, he actually watched, it was interesting because they told him what Arcann was a little bit like, or what they were looking for, and then he did Arcann, and then he saw the Blur trailer, and that was the first time he saw his character, of course, because he's the voice actor. And then subsequent recordings of Arcann and Thexan to a degree were influenced by the Blur trailer, so it ended up becoming this sort of interesting feedback loop. I thought that was really, really cool. He also said that although he hasn't played SWTOR, he has watched some YouTube videos of people doing SWTOR playthroughs, and that has also given him more information on Arcann, because he's actually seen what Arcann does in some of the chapters of Kotvi and Kotet. So that was really, really interesting. Yeah. Have you listened to the whole thing or just parts of it yet?
Oh, I
Kitty?
Yeah, I watched it.
Mm-hmm. Anything else that you'd definitely want to hit? I actually added a bunch of notes, but so if there's more in the show notes, if you have access to them.
I thought it was interesting that when he was talking about, he did the voice and then didn't hear or see anything of it until he saw the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he said it was 4 years or something like that, some crazy amount of time. And I couldn't imagine, in 4 years, you'd forget about something. And then all of a sudden you see those trailers that are amazing and just be like, that's my voice.
Right.
I didn't expect it to be coming out of the main guy.
Right.
It'd be so crazy.
Yeah. And as a League of Legends player as well, it was kind of cool to hear him talk about the one voice he did for them. And I was aware that he had done one, but I had forgotten that, he voices Nasus in League of Legends. So if you play League of Legends, not only is he Arcann in SWTOR, he's Nasus, the sort of an Egyptian god sort of type character in League of Legends. And
cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, Ducksauce, you did a great job on the interview.
It was really, really awesome. That was really, really fun to listen to. I can't recommend it enough. Go to YouTube and follow Ducks. It's thatducksauce, just like when he streams, and so definitely do that. Go check it out, and especially if you're into, like I say, if you're into voice acting at all as a business or just as an art, just definitely check it out, because they go into all kinds of stuff for it. Really, really good. So there we go. Anything else, Kitty?
I don't think so. I think that's it. I would like to say to Duck Sauce, well done, but also quit setting the bar so high for the rest of us streamers.
Nice. Here, let me let's see. I think I can get a copy of this put into the chat, because usually we have like this kind of set up so that it's hard for people. That's actually the tweet that will then lead you to it, but whatever, it's fine. So definitely check that out, and I think that's good then. That's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room.
Thank you, chat room.
All right, Kitty, and we're out of here.
All right.
And we'll see you next time. Stopping the stream.